Something crazy happened yesterday in Ogun State. A big king died and his family wanted to bury him like a Muslim. But some people came to stop them. They said, "No, we must bury him our own way." Then the soldiers came and chased them away. The story is bigger than you think, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Welcome to RNN TV. We bring you the real stories that matter. I am your host, and today we are talking about the big fight that happened at a king's burial in Ijebuland. Let me tell you about this king first. His name is Oba Sikiru Adetono. It was the Awujale of Ijebuland. That means it was like the biggest king in that area. This man ruled for 65 years. That is longer than your grandfather has been alive. He died on Sunday at the age of 91. Now, here's where the problem started. The king was a Muslim. When he died, his family wanted to bury him like Muslims do. But some traditional people said, "No way, you cannot do that." Who are these traditional people? They are called Osugbo. Some places call them Ogboni. These are people who have been around for hundreds of years. Their job is to make the kings follow the old ways. They believe that when a king dies, he must be buried the way their grandfathers did it, not like Christians or Muslims. Let me tell you something that will shock you. In 2021, Ogun State made a new law. This law stated that kings would choose how they wanted to be buried. If the king is a Christian, bury him like a Christian. If he is a Muslim, bury him like a Muslim. Before this law, all kings had to be buried the traditional way, no matter what they believed. But guess what? The same king who had just passed away helped create this law. It's like he knew this fight would happen and he tried to fix it before he died. So yesterday, hundreds of Oshugbo people came to the king's house in Ijebu-Ode. They were not just coming to greet each other. They wanted to take over the burial and do it their own way. They brought everything they needed to perform the old rituals, but the family had called soldiers to protect them. When the traditional people arrived, the soldiers told them, "You cannot enter here." The people around started shouting at the Oshugbo members. The soldiers then pushed them out of the place.
Oku Muslimini. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go Anybody you see with the shaki, anybody later, anybody nobody but the shaki later. Let's see what later. Anybody nobody but the shaki, come no later. No way. Don't blame me.
Can you imagine how the family felt? They just lost their father and now people are fighting about how to bury him. Can you imagine how the traditional people felt? They believe they are protecting something very important from their culture. The burial went on as planned. They buried the king like a Muslim right beside his father. Many important people came. Governor Dapo Abiodun was there. Former Vice President Osibajo came. Even Aliko Dangote, the richest man in Nigeria, was there. K1 the Ultimate, the famous musician, also came. However, this fight reveals a significant development in Nigeria. Many of our traditional rulers are now Christians or Muslims. The question is, when they die, should we follow the old ways or their new religion? The Oshugbo people say this: when you become a king, you are no longer just one person. You represent all of us. So you must follow our ways, even when you die. They believe that if we don't bury kings the traditional way, we are throwing away our culture. The other side says even kings should be free to choose their religion. Nobody should force you to be buried in a way you don't want, even after you die. This same fight is happening in many places across Africa. Old ways are fighting with new ways. What happened in Ijebu yesterday is just one example of many. Think about it like this. Imagine your grandfather was a traditionalist, but your father became a Christian. When your father dies, should you bury him like a Christian because that is what you wanted? Or should you bury him the traditional way because that is what your family has always done? This is not an easy question to answer. Both sides have valid reasons for their beliefs. The Oshigbo people are not bad people. They are trying to protect something they think is very important. The king's family are not bad people either. They simply wanted to respect their father's beliefs. What makes this story even more interesting is that this king was very respected. He ruled for 65 years. That is longer than most people live. Many people loved him, but even after all those years, there was still this fight about how to bury him. The king is now buried, but this fight is not over. As Nigeria continues to evolve, we can expect to see more stories like this. What do you think? Should we always adhere to the old ways, or should people be free to make their own choices? Tell us what you think in the comments, and do not forget to subscribe to RNN TV. We will continue to share the real stories that affect us all.